What's up? Welcome back to the MindShare Podcast. So the other day we all saw something, really big headline, made big news. Everybody was talking about it. And then the main takeaway that everybody kept repeating was better technology. I just kind of kept hearing it and thinking what does it actually mean? I'm even still thinking about it right now. Not even about the deal, who bought who. I don't care about all that stuff. And I know it was big news and that's what everybody was talking about, but I'm not here to talk about that today. But that line, better technology. I mean, I guess in today's world it makes sense. It sounds right. It's one of those things where you kind of go yeah, obviously. One of those lines, right? Everybody's yeah. Nobody turns around and goes, well, that was stupid. Instead, people just hear it and sort of go, okay, cool. Yeah, sure. I'm in. The sheeple. No rhyme or reason. Just a surface level explanation. Everybody's yeah, sounds good. This is episode number 385. If I actually stopped you right now, if I actually asked you this right now, what does better technology actually mean for your business? In your day, your actual day-to-day, what actually does it mean? What does it change if we said you had better technology? Think about it right now. What would you say? What would your answer be to me? My thought, most people probably wouldn't have any type of substantial answer in any way. People would say things like AI. Or they'd use words automation or my systems or it's going to give me access to better tools. Okay, but what? Let's get specific. What are you actually talking about and what are we actually doing with it? Give me an example. Actually, give me a problem. Give me a problem that I've got and tell me how is this better technology going to fix it? In fact, go even further than that. Think about my day, my real life day-to-day, with everything that I got to get done in a day. Then for that solution you may have just given me, help me understand how it fits in to the normal course of my day. See, because when I look around and I watch the way agents are running their business and I watch the way the business gets done, the big problem that we've got in this business specifically, it ain't a technology problem. It's not about a lack of technology. It's that there really isn't a real business that's being run in the first place by most people. People do a lot of different activities. And yeah, there's going to be some people doing deals, right? A bunch of conversations happen, but never enough going on, that's for sure. We know that. A lot of people react, very reactive to their days rather than be, if I say a lot of people reacting versus people, proacting. I don't even know if proacting actually is a proper word. But if you said people being reactive versus proactive, most people in this game don't run a structured business. And hey, if they did, more people would actually return phone calls and care about how they and their brand are perceived by other people. And now you want to layer technology on top of that? And again, I'm not saying we don't. You need tech in today's world. But it's not just going to come in and clean things up for you. It's not just going to come in and run your business for you. It's not just going to come in and take over and do the things that all the stuff you were doing. In fact, when we talk about better technology or technology at all or implementing new technology, it actually does just add on a lot more for you to manage. Think about it. You're adding on new tools, you're adding on new apps, you're adding on new usernames and passwords, so that's always fun. I get anxious every time I have to create a new one. I can't stand it. Every single time you go somewhere, they want you to create a username and password. But all this different tech, it's it just gives us more to have to focus on, more to figure out how to use and how to connect. And now you take somebody who's already been totally overwhelmed by all this business and you try to get them to manage 5 different systems that they barely use properly in the first place anyways. And not only do you have to use them and figure out how to use them, you got to pay for them. All right. We're going to take an early commercial break on this one this time. This episode of the MindShare Podcast is brought to you by Kits Keep in Touch Systems. If you are in real estate and you are not staying in touch, you are falling behind, and technology is not going to do it for you. However, Kits will help you do it properly. And REM Real Estate Magazine, Canada's go-to for news, insights, and what is actually happening in this industry. While you're listening, head over to mindshare101.com and grab your free Ultimate Marketing Bundle. And if you're ready to take things to another level, coaching, group training, momentum training, reach out. All right. Let's get back to our regular scheduled program over here. And I know you're thinking, Dave, why such an early commercial break? I don't know. I don't know how much we got to share today. I mean, we have what to share. Because I want to lean into this, right? Let's actually break this down. I'm not talking high-level thinking over here. I'm not talking about, just theory, but moreover, practicality. How about that? If you're running a real estate business, what do you actually need? When we talk about technology, let's take a look at where to start with quote-unquote better technology. Let's just go through a list here. And let's see if you've got these things in place. Let's see how you have them in place. I want you to think about, are they connected? How much am I paying for them? Do I actually use them? Do I know how to use them? How much have I used them in the past? All of the above. But seriously, I started to think about that because I thought, I'm just not understanding. What do they mean? And I know I've heard all sorts, as I said off the top, right, about the AI and the automation, all the better systems and better deal processing but I'm still sort of going nah, I'm not seeing that. I'm not seeing that as that was the reason. Regardless of that, for that particular deal, I'm talking about the entirety, the normalcy of your day-to-day business and what you do and don't use, how you use it, how much you spend on it, again, what you know about it, what it's doing for you, all the above. And trying to help you, at the end of the day, walk out of this episode going, I know what better technology means. And I'm implementing, better technology. I'm implementing technology. And maybe after today's show, you might be able to get better with the technology. Anyways, okay, let's go. First, you need somewhere to store and track people. Okay, that's number one. If we think about pipeline, if we think about, the conversations and the communications we have and the relationships we have with people, all the interactions. We need somewhere to put the notes so we can remember it all. We need somewhere to put the birthdays and the home anniversaries and, all the details that you know about somebody, first and foremost need to go somewhere. Now, back in the day before this, better technology, this actually meant that you might put, files and filing cabinets. And you'd literally open up those big steel drawers, those filing cabinets, and look through and find the folder with the person's name on it. You'd pull it out and you'd have all the details. But even then, people didn't track notes about all the interactions that they had with somebody. Now today, because of technology, because of better technology, let's put it that way. Today, because of better technology, we actually call that filing cabinet your CRM. And in today's world, it is not optional. It's not something that you just kind of I've got one. This is your database. This is your actual pipeline. We need to have somewhere to track people. And again, that's going to be your CRM. First names, last names, mailing addresses, email addresses, phone numbers. If you listen to my show enough, you know exactly what I'm saying to you here. A full contact record, not just some random email from some random person. Where do you put all the information? How do you remember everything you talked about? How do you build better relationships? Well, again, the more you track about your interactions, the more you track about that individual, the deeper the relationship you can build, the more trust you can establish, the greater the opportunity for you. Now, much the same if we look at saying, I need someone to track people. Well, we also need someone to track deals. Okay? Deal flow, compliance, Where are things at with that particular contact? What's conditional? What's closing? What needs attention? And you could use a spreadsheet for this. You could use a system that your brokerage has provided to you. But again, whatever, it's got to exist. You've got to have somewhere that you're putting all of this. And I would argue that, again, if you got the right CRM that is built for people in this industry, you can actually track a lot of that in there. Because, again, as you go through and you've created a contact profile for an individual, you've got all their information of contact information and all the notes about all your interactions. You also know where they're at in your world. Are they an active seller? Are they an active buyer? Are they a past client? Are they a potential client? Do they own? Do they rent? Are they a circle of influence? Are they a friend or family? Who are they? So again, when we're tracking deals, out of all these people we've got in our database, we're able to see which ones are actually active. Where are we at with those people? Where do we need to go next? Again, have the right CRM. The CRM can do it for you. You're still using just one system. Another piece of technology that we could leverage is a way to manage showings. And yeah, that's typically going to be attached to the MLS that you're using. Just availabilities, bookings, coordinations. You know the game. We need somewhere for that, okay? Somewhere to be able to manage that. It used to be people would call into the front desk. Front desk would call you. You guys would coordinate a time. Of course, we know that better technology has helped us simplify that entire process. So we're thinking to ourselves, I need a way to track and manage showings. There's a system. Another piece of technology, a way to manage your time. Where are you going? What are you doing? What do you have to do in a day? How much time do you have in a day? Who are you supposed to be meeting today? What needed to be prepared yesterday for today? Very simply put, this is a calendar. Better technology. Use a calendar. This isn't so hard. Look, if you're using a day timer, cool. I mean, the old school still works. Pen to paper is powerful. I'm not going to sit here and say it's not good. In fact, I love pen to paper. In saying that, when we talk about better technology, when we talk about maybe even better systems, more streamlined, more efficiencies, that's why I will make the argument that a digital calendar is going to be the place you should be using. Actually doing the proper time blocks. Not just like oh yeah, I've got one. And there's way too many people that still use just the native calendar app on their phone, which is not connected to your main CRM. It's not connected to your entire business systems. In fact, if you're not connected, you're not actually, your business is kind of all over the place. And you might say, hey, it works for me. I got you. But if we look at this idea of better technology, then we also want to think about efficiency. And using pen to paper and having everything in there when you've got a contact list over here, it's not as efficient. When you can have one place that's accessible by, yes, a username and password, but when you can have one place that you could go to for that, and you can open that up every single day, and you've got your contact list, and you've got your deal flow, and you know that you got your calendar. It's one place. Talk about efficiencies. Talk about automation. Talk about better technology. There it is. As opposed to a whole bunch of disconnected apps where everything, is exactly that, disconnected. On top of the fact that you need the ability to be able to invite somebody from your contact list into an event in your calendar, send them reminders, have the history being tracked back to that contact record that you did the meeting. See, the first step is having somewhere to be able to manage your time. And I've also, many times argued the whole thing about you can't manage time, but you can empower time to manage you. And it's as simple as wake up every night, before you go to bed every night, looking at your calendar for the next day, asking yourself what commitments you've already got in place from meetings and showings and listing appointments and anything else that you booked with other people, and making sure you get to those on time and that because you've already committed, that you do show up. You want the ability to be able to see your day and understand how much time you actually have to be able to get things done and not get things done. And this very much includes your personal time. Something that most people skip out on because for some reason, personal time is not as important as business time. And people argue me, yeah, but if I don't make the money, then I can't do the things I want. Well, I get it. That's why we all got to get up and work every day. In saying that, if you are missing out on life, why are you getting up to work every day? You're working so hard. You're not even focused on what you actually want in life. You're just working, and you're missing out on life. Well, get a calendar. Call it the window to your life. The ability to see what needs to happen and what doesn't need to happen, when it needs to happen, who it needs to happen for. Always keeping you ahead of the game, always keeping you prepared, always keeping you proactive instead of reactive, and always keeping you in control. So get better technology? Hey, right back to your CRM, there's a calendar inside your CRM. And if there isn't, and you don't even have to tell me which system you're using, I'm going to tell you you're using the wrong CRM. Again, you want to drill the hole, you buy a drill. You want to run a real estate business or any type of business, in sales especially, you need a CRM. This is your window to your entire world. Okay, another piece of technology. And so far, what have we come up with? One, we've come up with a CRM, which helps us track our deals, which helps us track our people, and which helps us track our day. We've also come up with a system to track our showings. Okay, so there's two pieces of better technology we've come up with so far to help us with a whole bunch of different tasks. Another one here. Need a way to manage your money. Let's call that an accounting system, right? What's the income coming in? How much do you have coming in? What are the expenses that need to go out on a regular basis? Can you actually track those? Do you know month over month how much you're putting out? Do you know what kind of return on investment you are or are not getting on your marketing dollars? So by having a system to help us track what's going in or what's coming in, what's going out. How about taxes? How often people in this business get caught at tax season going, oh my God, I'm either out of money or I got to figure out how much taxes I got to pay. Well, what I got to submit. And, you're scrambling and you're looking around everywhere because you just don't track anything. Well, again, you want better technology when you're running a business. If the big goal is to make more money so you can pay and afford the things that you need to afford in life, let's think about that. Where are you tracking your money? And I'll tell you, a lot of agents avoid this completely. Like, completely. They know how many deals they've done, but they don't know how much they've actually made. And they definitely don't know where it's all going because it's not being tracked properly. Now, within our coaching system, when you're coaching with us one-on-one, we do provide and create a complete business plan for each and every single one of our coaching clients. We also provide a deal tracker so that we can source we can track the source of every single deal. For example, knowing exactly who we did the deal with, knowing what property it was on, knowing what our role was, knowing how much the house sold for was, how much the house sold for, how much commission was there, and what marketing channel brought that person in. Because that's going to help us allocate our marketing dollars to the right channels to drive a higher return on investment. So again, we need somewhere to be able to track the money. We got to know what's coming in, what's going out. We got to know what's working and what's not. Otherwise, guess what? You're causing yourself to work a hell of a lot harder than you need to work. What? Well, if you're spending all this money and you're not paying attention to where it's going, then you need to make the money back in order to pay the bills on top of everything else you got to pay for. But we're not tracking what's working, so we're just paying all this stuff for maybe better technology or all sorts of other marketing pieces. But there's no real tracking about what's actually making us the money. So again, when we've got a piece of technology to help us track, aka an accounting system, now we know what the numbers look like. We also know how hard do we need to be working? How hard should we be working? Where do we got to pick it up? Where do we got to drop it off? When it comes to a marketing plan, what do I get rid of and what do I keep? When it comes to overall expenses in life, what am I spending on that I realize that maybe I need to stop? We need to be able to track our money, right? If that's what we're getting up, okay, accounting system. That's a third system now. Again, when we talk about better technology. Another one here, a place for documents, files, contracts, Where do you put all that stuff? Like some kind of system where things are going to live. We don't want to be digging through emails and, from 3 months back, needle in a haystack to try to find stuff. So simplicity here, let's look at options. You could go back to that filing cabinet that I mentioned a few minutes ago. You could. I'm not going to recommend it. Could be a folder on your computer where you store everything. I'd say it's possible. That's technology. But I would say that there is better technology for that. And the reason I say that is because, well, if you're, every once in a while like me, and you put your coffee too close to the keyboard, and it happens to spill all over the keyboard, the question I've got for you is, have you ever done that before and had to go buy a new computer? Liquid and technology don't work well. I can tell you I've done it twice by accident. Coffee once, water once, over the span of years, and I should have known better. I really should have known better. But the point that I'm making to you is, the moment something like that happens, the moment that you're not actually with your computer, can you access the files you need? And again, if the answer is no, then this is where an option for better technology comes in, and you could use a virtual filing system, something like like Google Drive. Running your entire business through Google Drive. It's like having an actual Google Office where you've got, virtual access to everything you do. Now, I'm not going to get into the little breaks of Google Drive. You know what it is and you know what to do with it. Point is, it is an online filing system that allows you to store all the documents and have access to everything you need on a whim. So we need a place for documents. Okay? Where do you use that? Where do you store that? What do you use for that? And you want to talk about better technology. Again, if you're using a filing cabinet, we can definitely implement better technology. What I'm trying to do, though, is go, look, when we talk about better tech, we say, what do I need? What don't I have? What does better technology mean? Well, in this case, I'd say to you, a place to store documents falls in line with that. Another piece of technology. A complete marketing system, like a complete one that offers a full multi-channel approach, not like, having all these different tools everywhere that keep you disconnected in every direction. But I'm talking literally a system that's going to have everything in one place for you to help you get out there and talk to the people in that database in a seamless way. So again, what do you have for that? Are you using a whole bunch of different apps, a whole bunch of different services? Are you paying a whole bunch of different money to a whole bunch of different places? And the question is, how connected is it? Have you got your contact list in maybe in a CRM, maybe in your phone book, maybe in an email system, maybe in an online lead gen system, and you got a contact list that's literally in a whole bunch of different places. And having to manage all those different places, that's a lot of work. Did I put David in this one? Did I put him in that one? Oh, I'm going to go put him in there, and I'm going to go put him in here. Well, again, that's not better technology. That's inefficiency. Everything is too fragmented. Everything's too disconnected. What you're looking for is one system that has the ability to go out and talk to the most important audience you have, group number one, the people that drive 70 to 90% of your business, your contact list. And you want to be able to talk to them across a multi-channel approach. Can you send out emails? Can you send out direct mails? Can you manage social media? Are there websites there? Can you track the source of all your phone calls and your text messages with them at any time you've got together with them in person? Sending birthday cards, calendars, thank you cards. One system. Now, I could tell you, and I'm going to take the opportunity to say it, Kids Keep in Touch Systems is that one system. There is no other tool out there in real estate that is servicing the real estate industry that will have as comprehensive of a marketing suite as what Kits offers. And it's not just for the people you know. You can also set it up to talk to the people you don't know. Now, of course, we're a lot more limited when we're talking to people we don't know because we haven't got email addresses yet. We don't have phone numbers and, the ability to text them yet. But we certainly can flyer a neighborhood. We can certainly keep in touch with geo-mapping the entire area so we know where we're going to go, how we're going to meet people, when we're going to get involved in community events. All these tools in one place keep you connected instead of disconnected. They keep your marketing and your branding streamlined so everything looks the same. They keep your cost down so you're not spending a stupid amount of money on a whole bunch of different things. They keep you organized. Again, we've got one contact list, and that's what we call efficiencies. And right there, on the overall, that's it. There's the business. We've got a marketing system. We've got a document filing system. We've got an accounting system. Then we take the showing system. There's 4. And then we got the CRM. And the CRM manages your time. It manages your marketing. It can manage your contact list. It can manage your calendar. It can manage your deal flow. In fact, it's 4 systems. It's not even 5 because, again, when I said the marketing can also be attached. It should also be attached to your CRM. And again, when you've got that set up properly, that's exactly, taking the opportunity here, guys. That's what Kits does for you. That's exactly the answer. Now, once all of that exists, now we could talk about better technology. Okay, because better doesn't necessarily just mean like I have to have more. Better? How do we define that? We could say, is it simple to use? Is it easy? How about, does it actually get used? I'm going to leave it right there. Because I'll tell you, there's always going to be another app, another piece of technology, another bright, shiny object that comes out that claims to be better. The question is, do you understand how to use it? Are you going to use it? Is it actually better than what you have? Or maybe is the system you're using so good, so efficient for you, that you're good? You don't necessarily need to get caught up in the hype. I mean, I remember when this one CRM came out a number of years ago and they said to everybody, you can put people in buckets. And everybody's like, oh my God, I can put people in buckets. And everybody starts flocking to go put their people in buckets. Like, I know that sounds very stupid. You didn't do that, did you? Look, I got to poke fun, right? We gotta call a spade a spade. We gotta call it out because most people don't. And it's important that we do. Because I find it comical when we flock like sheep to go do something because everybody else is doing it, but we got no rhyme or reason to why. We haven't even actually done enough research to figure out, is that the right answer? Is that the best possible option for me? Now, let's also move into the one topic here about AI. Because obviously everybody's talking about it and it's powerful, no question, right? We know that it writes content faster than we can. We know that it can help us generate a ton of ideas and it can, help us take, maybe an email and put a better polish on it, right? Through, better communication maybe, or it can help you build templates for stuff or strategize on business. Hell, if you do it properly, you could use some of these apps to build apps. You can even start putting your entire system together and going, look, I've got this and I got this and I got this and I want it all to work together. But this is where most people really trip up. We try to use AI to replace all of the thinking instead of using it to actually support structure. So what's happening now is people are creating a lot more, but nothing's actually connected to each other. And overall, there's rarely much strategy. There's rarely much of a system in place. There's follow-up still lacks. And I mean, if you've ever sat down and worked with AI to a point where you were doing a back and forth on business strategy and you were brainstorming and you were building and it is frustrating because you think that it knows something and all of a sudden it forgot it. Or you think you're onto something and all of a sudden it changes its tune and it starts to change it up on what it's delivering. You can sit there going and going and going and going with this thing, and it'll run you in circles. And again, I'm not sitting here saying don't use it, but if you used it enough, you know what I'm talking about. You've been through this. So it's not the magic answer to everything. And when you are using it to create content or to, help you stay in touch, let's put it that way, it feels like you're doing something, but at the end of the day, it's a cop-out because it's not authentically you. It's not really your brand voice. It's not you coming up with what you want to say. It's AI coming up with what you want to say. And again, if you use an AI enough and you read enough, not on AI, but outside, social media posts, emails that people send, you'll see it. You can see it clearly that ChatGPT or some AI system wrote for that person. It's not a this problem, it's a that problem. You don't have a this, you have a that. I mean, people doing carousel posts on social media, you can see that they had AI write it, turn it into images, and they posted it. And look, there could be some good learning there. But what's happening now is everybody's brand voice starts to fall into being very similar. And then the question becomes, how do you differentiate yourself out there? How do you make yourself stand out? How do you say, no, I'm the one to work with? And then people say, like after they just use it for content, like, yeah, I've tried AI. No, you didn't. You've played with it. You've had to write your content. There's a major difference between actually leveraging it to figure out how to make systems better, how to create more efficiencies, than just, having it write an email for you or having it write a social media post. There's a big difference on that, okay? Now, if your business is clear, if you know what needs to happen on a daily basis and you've got the right systems in place that you've made simple enough for you to operate, if you know what you're trying to accomplish, something like AI becomes leverage because it can help save time. Again, the efficiencies I've been talking about, it can help you, maybe scale something that you're already using. But without actually having systems in place, without actually having, this is how I run my day, this is how I run my business. If you haven't got that, it's actually possible that AI can create a ton of chaos for you. It could be just noise in the background. And then what happens? On that search for better technology, you're right back where you started. Or you're running like a chicken with your head cut off, trying to figure out how to make all this stuff work. And then we look and say, wow, what do you do and actually do your follow-ups? Did you make time to do your phone calls today? Did you make time to connect with people today? Or are you just tinkering with so much technology that you've been lost in technology land trying to come up with better technology? When we hear better technology, don't get caught up in the excitement of it. Think back right to your business and ask yourself, what am I doing with technology? What part of my business leverages tech? And yeah, I guess arguably most of our business does. But look at your systems. Look at the way you operate. Again, ask yourself, am I being efficient? What do I actually have in place right now? Is it working? And asking yourself questions like, do I know my people? Do I have a contact list somewhere? Ask yourself, where is it stored? Is it complete? Do you have somewhere that you track all your deals? What about somewhere that you manage your time? What about managing your money? What about managing the files? Those 5 questions right there should give you a good sense of what kind of technology you got in place right now and whether or not you need to be searching for better technology. The big important question is to ask yourself, do I have those systems in place? The other question you want to ask yourself, do I have any tech in place that I do pay for, that I've signed up for, that I've created a username and password for, but it's really just an expensive hood ornament, right? Where the reality is you're not using it. It's just there. Look, at the end of the day, the people that succeed in this business, the people that actually have the success are the ones that are totally focused on what needs to happen to have the success. And it's not about chasing better technology. In fact, I'd argue it's about chasing better relationships, better connections, better tracking, better systems, more efficiency. And that word keeps coming up today because as we talk to tech, the reality is tech should make you more efficient. But what we don't want it to do is make us more disconnected. Because that, no matter how much technology you have, no matter how good the tech is or what you figured out how to do with it or how much you pay for it, if it's getting in the way of the relationship, it's actually going to do you a disservice. And again, everybody who's making a proper living in this business understands that. They will always tell you it's about the relationships, it's about the connections with people. In fact, most of them will tell you they are too damn busy to tinker with all this technology and looking for bright, shiny object answers. They've actually built a business. They actually know what their processes are in a day, and they're not looking for some quick fix or some magic pill to fix to do the job for them. They just stick to the process. They trust it. And all the tech, it comes after that, not before it. So yeah, I mean, our world and of course, our industry is moving towards this thing of like better technology. But if you haven't got a foundation for how you operate, what you do, how you run your days, how you run your business, none of it's really going to matter anyways. It's just going to be a better version of a brighter and shinier, messy business. And I don't think that's what we were after to begin with, is it? Nah. Like usual, we are after clarity. We're after control. We're after consistency. We're after profit. Then it's efficiency. In that order right there. I'm David Greenspan, reminding you to get out there and build the MindShare, because MindShare equals market share. Thank you for tuning in. I will catch you next week.